my lovely, and welcome to episode 22, season 2 of the Prosperous Yogini Podcast. Yes, I am aware this is an angel number. If that resonates with you, you're my kind of people. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating the 222 just as much as I am. And actually, I'm really excited about today's topic. From month to month, I'm not totally sure what I'm going to talk about. If I'm honest with you guys, before I hit record, what I do before recording my podcast is sit down, get my pen and paper, which is another way that I download from a channel, whatever word you want to call it, from my higher self, from source, from universal intelligence, whatever the word it is. I download it through talking and through writing. Really interesting. When my one-to-one clients are talking to me, I'll be writing down what they're saying. Because that act helps me tap in to the advice that the universe wants them to hear. And I do the same with the podcast. So I sat down today and it's like, what do my listeners need? And last month's episode, should it be free or paid, was really practical, a strategic episode. And I feel like today's episode is strategic again. We need both. We need to work with the energy of allowing, the energy of intuition, inner guidance, the energy of receiving, and then the energy of doing, taking some action. And when we're going to take action, it's good to have a strategy. It may or may not be the right strategy if you've not used it before. So you have to test and see. And also, it may be a strategy, and this is very much today's episode is going to resonate with this. It may be in a strategy where, like, this worked before, this worked in 2022, 2025. This is really not working. And then, I've missed the boat. People aren't buying online courses anymore. Look, no. I want you guys to know, having been self-employed for over 15 years now, I'm going to stop counting. I'm just going to say for over 15 years now. I'm telling you now, being in business, being a solo entrepreneur is the process of refining and adapting. Repeat, refine, adapt. That's a great mantra. Can we just write that down? Repeat, refine, adapt. Yoga teaches us that nothing is permanent, nothing is constant, and being open to change. And I think really that probably leads me into the start of today's podcast. So I think it's really interesting, like, do I feel a bit of a fraud talking to you about how online courses are changing in 2025? Yes and no, because I don't fully consider myself a full-blown course creator. I'm not. I have a mixed model business. I have in-person offers. I have hybrid, in-person, online, both training and mastermind options. I have dedicated online courses, but I have never actually, other than in the depths of COVID, because we had no choice, I've never had a purely online business. Okay, I have gone down the rabbit hole of funnels, deadline clocks. I have been down that rabbit hole and it didn't quite work for me. I am definitely, and I've written this down in my notes, people over numbers. And when we enter into the online world, it's a bit of a harsh reality, harsh fact that the dedicated course creators that are, inviting you into their offers so you can learn to create a scalable online business. Hell yes, right? One of the big conversations that get missed is it's a numbers game. So how many people you have on your mailing list directly relates to how many online course sales you're going to make. It's conversion rates are the conversion rates, and conversion rates are anything between 2 and 15% on average, and people, I think, don't fully understand that. So when they come up with a brilliant online offer and then they go to sell it and no one buys it, they think they failed, they think the offer's not good enough, my messaging's not good enough. And the reality is, probably in most cases, and I know this has been very true of me, pool of people that you are selling that offer to is just really small, and actually you're getting really good conversion rates. It's a great offer. What you've got to do is repeat and grow, refine, adapt. Oh my God, it's such a good mantra, isn't it? Anyway, how did I end up here in March 2025 talking to you about the changes I'm noticing in my business and picking up from other online course creators about how things are changing in 2025, right? So if you don't know my story, I'm going to tell you again, because it's a great story in itself. Like, if this doesn't give you inspiration that you can change and adapt and it's possible for you, I don't know, right? Because 2019, like, I am so happy in my little yoga world bubble. I have a really good local in-person business, a thriving yoga community, a thriving yoga studio. Oh my God, I just realized, for those of you watching on YouTube, so if you're listening online, you won't be able to see this. I've blurred my background, but my dog, you can see my dog, this is Pancake in the background, if you're wondering what that furry head is. Sorry. So 2019, I am Queen of Cash. I don't have a rubbish website. It is rubbish. Yeah. I'm not really, when I say leveraging my broadcast channels, like, no, people just knew. It was word of mouth was king. People just knew. I didn't have a mailing list. I had a rubbish website. I was tentatively on Facebook. I certainly wasn't on Instagram. But people just knew. My classes were full. I'd in 2016 started to offer training. People just knew. Like, it just happened. I just wanted to say, it didn't just happen. It wasn't that easy. But I really served my local community, and my local community told everyone else about me. And I'm going to say, I still think one thing that is true in 2025 of word of mouth is king, whether you are online or in person. And word of mouth only happens over time. Persistent, consistent action and direction of your dreams. Like, people paid me in cash or back transfer. At least you didn't have online payment. I remember, because I was teaching pregnancy, mum and baby yoga, and I bless the mums, like, they not bring the cash, say they'd pay, they never paid because they're busy, right? So it was always like this sticky point, and I was like, oh, you haven't paid yet, that type of thing. So how can I eliminate that? I got myself an iZettle machine, like, and if you wanted to scroll down through my Facebook page back to like 2019, there's a picture of me holding my iZettle machine where I'm like, hey, moving into the 21st century. Like, I take them, I recognize myself then that it is ridiculous that this is about as technology orientated as I'm gonna go. I resisted it. I told myself tech didn't like me. I told myself I wasn't any good at tech, and I told myself I didn't want to be on YouTube or social media. It just wasn't for me. And in reality, as it stood in 2019, I didn't need it. I was happy. I was like making good money, loved my business, loved the way I was working. It worked around my children. It just worked. Okay, probably I was limiting myself in terms of revenue 100%, because I was only trading time for money, although I had built out a diverse office suite from yoga classes to teacher training courses. And I was definitely limiting myself in the sense that unless you came down to the small corner of Cornwall from where my studio was operated from, you didn't get to experience my brilliance. And looking back now, isn't that a shame? Thank God I started this podcast, eh? Then we all know 2020. Do you know what? It's interesting. It's the anniversary, isn't it? It is this time 5 years ago. Oh my God, 5 years ago that we went into lockdown. And I just will never, ever forget. I'll never forget packing up. I packed up my yoga studio. I took out all the soft furnishings. There's a picture on social media of all my bolsters, all my blankets, all my kit just outside the building where the studio was. And I'm going home. And I remember, God, I feel a bit emotional. I remember going to our local shop, Co-op, probably to buy Lou and ringing my mum. And like, at that point I was like, Mum, I'm screwed. Everything that I've worked for, the last sort of, now we're talking, nearly 10 years, everything I've worked for the last 10 years, everything I've done, it's just gone. And I'm screwed. And like, I didn't have large sums of money in savings. I hadn't got £1,000, and my mum was like, well, we've got some money, we've got £5,000, and we're happy to give it to you to tide you over. And I said no, like, Possibly in like any other circumstances, I'd have been, oh, like, thanks, mum, took the money and cracked on with my life. But I feel like in that moment in the co-op car park, right, a lightning bolt from the universe hit me. I'm getting goosebumps here. I literally think I had a spiritual awakening in the co-op car park buying loo roll. I'm not joking. That's something from deep within my soul, deep from in my heart, deep from in my being went, how no? Am I taking this money from my mum and going, that's it? How no is this situation going to take away my yoga business? How no is this going to stop me? And like, guys, I'd launched my first foundation teacher training course. We'd started in January. It was a 12-month course. It was a purely in-person course. I had 16 people on it. And they were obviously all messaging me saying, are we pausing? Are we stopping? You know, and I'm like, no, you're a massive stream of income for me. Hell no. I didn't quite word it like that, but I said, no, I'm just give me a few days. And honestly, I think I went home and I think I messaged, and of course I didn't have email marketing. So it was Heath Robinson in terms of like WhatsApp messaging, text messaging, email, you know. I messaged all of my clients, all of my students across all my offers and said, give me 48 hours, I'm coming back. And I literally went through, how am I going to deliver my classes? How am I going to deliver my training? And the classes, and it evolved. Yeah, it started off like Zoom classes. I'm laughing. I remember the first time I taught pregnancy yoga online in Zoom. On Zoom, I was in the living room, like the curtains were blowing, the light, the cat. Honestly, it was a shit show, but I just did it. And I started my online membership through Facebook Lives, and then realized that we needed Zoom. Like, it just evolved. And the classes evolved. And then the foundation teacher training course, well, really what happened in COVID really represents how I do my foundation teacher training course today and have done ever since, which is hybrid. We have a mixed model of online and in person. We do both. We have some self-paced study stuff that keeps the learning going between the weekends. We do in-person, like, intensives with online lives. So people, it just works. And I'm going to talk a bit about what is working, and this hybrid model is something I really will advocate for 2025 and online courses. And I was also due to teach my pregnancy yoga teacher training course and toddler yoga teacher training course in person, and I was like, I'm at my limit in terms of the kids at home. Like, I can't deliver these things live. So what I did is I shut myself in my yoga studio and I taught my pregnancy, postnatal and toddler yoga classes as if people were there, and I recorded it. And I'm still selling these courses today. They don't, the toddler one is fine because it's short, but the pre and postnatal one, it is a kitchen sink course. It's a brilliant course. There's a lot of content, and I've done my best to trim it down. But one of the things I will advocate, guys, is short and sweet, particularly if it's self-led study. It's amazing. Like, actually, it's pretty normal, and this was a statistic before COVID. Like, if you have a pure self-led study course, not everyone's going to do it. Quite a high percentage of people actually aren't going to do it, and it's very much the equivalent of like, how many books have you bought and you've not read? Believe it or not, it's the same thing. But at the same time, self-led study, I have trained in pregnancy, postnatal and toddler yoga so many women with young children who can't get to in-person trainings, that can only do it in the evening when the kids have gone to bed, and have had career changes. My self-led study courses have allowed inclusivity and busy women with young children to train and have a career change and open up other streams of income. So, like, hell yes to that type of course. Hell yes. So basically, long story short, my online business was born. And I had no bloody idea what I was doing. And really, 2020, 2021, 2022, I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, like, on courses and coaches and mentors who taught me how to sell my online courses, taught me about conversion rates and funnels and launches. And then in 2022, I feel like I then went right into, okay, I'm going to have a real signature program. I'm going to launch this program. It's going to be a rolling program and it's going to be scalable. And that was the Prosperous Yogini mentorship program, which if you're a seasoned listener or you go back and listen to many of the episodes through, particularly season 1, you'll hear me talk about. And I learned a lot from that. 1, that I needed a much bigger audience to sell more people in. 2, that I actually didn't create a scalable offer. I always had the right amount of people in it for how I wanted to deliver it. 3, I definitely over delivered, undercharged, and filled my diary with way too many Zoom calls. That was right for me. But I also learned the power of community, connection, and touch points, places where people can ask you questions and you're going to get back to them. So where am I now? Because I'm no longer doing my mentorship program. There's a couple of reasons. I mainly no longer want rolling programs in my business. At the moment, it's just not quite right for me. But also, as you know, my mission is so much bigger. I think like the spiritual awakening that happened in the car park was me stepping onto my path from not just being a yoga teacher, yoga trainer, but to helping soul-led solo entrepreneurs, female founders, women, and all other genders. Like, you're all welcome. Anybody who's got a good heart and wants to make a shed load of money and make the world a better place, like, that is my purpose. That's my dharma. Really, yeah, I feel this so strongly. And COVID put me on that path. If it hadn't been for COVID, 100% probably would still be at my studio. Still not on Instagram, living my best life. So where I am now is what changes, I think, have I noticed. I'm going to be really honest and upfront. 2024, I saw, plummeting sales in my online self-led study courses. Stuff that worked before. So let me give you the best, most concrete data-driven example of this. So I have an online yin teacher training course, and it used to be all pre-recorded, and you could attend a weekly class, and there was a community space. And I was selling that predominantly through a funnel. And what I mean by funnel is someone sees a freebie, they sign up for this freebie, so it's a taster, and then they get sent an offer and they get sent an email sequence. And I was using deadline funnels, and it was a 7-day offer, and it was like, sign up and save £100, right? And I started that funnel, I think back in 2023, ran for 18 months. And honest to God, I spent £5 a day on Facebook ads. And on average, I sold between 3 or 4 of those courses through that funnel a month. And it was just this nice bit of like consistent guaranteed income. My Facebook ads were paying for themselves. I was selling my course. And then I would often also sell it through the odd offer, like discount. And then in between that, every now and again, someone bought it as it was. And my funnel just absolutely stopped in 2024, resulting in sales. And I left it and then I was like, no, this is like no longer happening. Then I would have like flash sales, 20% off, 25% off, save £100. Just these little mini 5 to 7 day sales, which can really help to draw people in who are ready to buy, give you a cash boost. And again, the amount of people responding, for want of a better word, to my flash sales of these self-paced study online courses dropped off a cliff. Okay. So it could have been very easy. You'll be like, okay, this is right, Amy. Like, people aren't buying online courses anymore. People haven't got any money anymore. It's a cost of living crisis. No. Okay. Because I had evidence to the contrary, in the sense that my I have a in-person yin training course at a stunning location at Zenden, this sounds like hotcakes. It is more expensive than my online course. And literally, I sell it out so quickly. I'm about to open the cart for the wait list in September, and there are more people on the wait list. I've got places, like it's just sells. So I'm like, no, this is not true. People were also buying into my way more expensive one-to-one offers, and still selling perhaps the shorter, cheaper self-led study courses. So it wasn't that it was changing. It's just, what people wanted were changing. I still going to stand by the fact that there is a place for self-led study training courses, but people need to feel like there's a personal connection. People need to feel like they've got someone that they can talk to. I think gone are the days. I never had this in my business personally, but I have signed up for courses where you are in a sea of hundreds, if not thousands of people. And I'm not going to name them. There's some, very established online course creators that make large sums of money. And I'm like, well done. But I feel the drive that is a numbers game over a people's game. It's about how many people can I convert? How many people can I get into this freebie? How many people can I convert? How much do I make from this launch? And a lot of the time, me personally, when I'm in a large cohort, I just get lost and I can't keep up. And then I just, like we do, when the book has too many words and not enough pictures, put it on the shelf. So it has changed. And for those of you that are considering stepping out into the online course world, please do. Things that I would consider, first of all, create and sell to those that are already in your audience. So I have a couple of one-to-one clients, yoga teachers at the moment, who have really established classes, workshops, retreat, like a really established in-person community. People who sometimes like drop in, people who come to their retreats but don't live near them, people who want to do more yoga with them, but they're not doing any more classes. We're creating a library. It's self-paced study. It's a low-cost offer. And we're very much targeting initially those that have already attended yoga with this teacher and given this person some money. Then the next stage will be to grow audience that might be interested in and make them offers in. So do really consider who's already in your audience. Let me go through. I've got my top tips here for 2025. If you are thinking about moving into online courses, or you already have like some aspect of online courses and you're nodding like, yeah, Amy, I've noticed it's changed. I noticed what worked before didn't. I noticed it's harder to sell X, but it's good to hear that other things are still selling, because I just want to say open university in terms of like, when you hear the online course world is dead, people aren't buying online courses anymore. Look, people have been buying online courses for years. Look, the open university and the online course world is going to grow. So look, you should definitely be part of it, but you need to think about, how can I be part of it? What works for me? What works for my audience? What works for the systems that I've got? And then I can grow from there. So first of all, short and sweet. And I put in brackets on my notes, self-led study. I definitely, my experience, and I go back to my brilliant pre and postnatal yoga teacher training courses, which has fantastic information in it. And like, I captured a moment in time where I was like in my heyday of pre and postnatal yoga, and filmed that training. And like, I go back into that content sometimes. I was like, damn, I was good, right? But it is a big course, and it takes people dedication and commitment to get through it. It is a kitchen sink course, and that is very much when I notice people start creating an online course that might be driven by self-led study content, that they go into creation mode and throw in the kitchen sink. They use it as a form of procrastination instead of selling. I will always advocate now, where possible, create as you go, sell the course, create as you go, right? Can you deliver it live and then repurpose the lives? Anyway, but short and sweet. Short videos, audio, like people are so used to podcasts now. Does it have to be video? Can it be audio? Short and sweet. Personal content, contact, and community. I think this matters both from a delivery point and a selling point. I've written what is out. You feeling like you're just in a marketing machine. And I think we've probably woken up to these marketing machines, and I spot them straight away now because I have them in my business. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that it's bad that we offer somebody something for free, whether it be something that's already in existence or a free live training or a free challenge, whatever the freebie is, and we bring them onto our mailing list. And now they're on our list, we're going to connect to them and set and talk to them, marketing, and sell to them, whether we're selling a very specific offer or something else. Like, that is fine, right? That is fine. And I know that's the energy exchange. Okay. But I really, think, let's not pretend it's that. When I sign up to something for free, I'm very aware that I'm going to be sent emails. And actually, because I know that it really, for me, email marketing really matters, and I want people to open and read and engage with my emails. I always, if someone's giving me something for free and it's good value and I like it, I will definitely sit on their list for a while and get to know them, and then very well may go on and buy things from them. But personal contact, is there an opportunity, if I really like this person, is there an opportunity to talk to them? And it's really difficult to say this because I understand when people have bigger businesses, bigger online course businesses, and the individual is very busy, and the person you contact isn't them, it's their sales team. So hell no for me. No. That unfortunately, and this is personal preference, but personal contact. And I'm not asking you to now be on hours and hours of Zoom calls, discovery calls. Like, I'm just like, what really works for me is when I'm in an open cart period, a launch period, I'm like, here's my WhatsApp number, if you have a question, drop me a message. It means I can answer it in my own time. Obviously, we've got to think about, there is a real difference between someone buying like a lower price offer versus like looking to work with you one-to-one. So the person that the offer where someone's working with me one-to-one definitely will engage more with them, definitely will invite them onto a quick chat. If it's like, this is a £97 course, here's the offer, go for it. That's all you're going to get from me on that. I'm like, if you need to have large conversations around investing in this, don't think it's like probably right for you. There I'm at with that. But personal contact, you feel like I care about you, and I do. Community, online communities, and it's so difficult because I think like we get overwhelmed by the WhatsApp messages, overwhelmed by yet another Facebook group. But I still will say, find a way of creating community that works for you. So in my high level mastermind program, we use WhatsApp, and that works really, really well. What is working my lower price coaching programs is using WhatsApp, but instead of having it that is like people can message at any time, which can feel really overwhelming, I have open Q&A sessions where people can answer questions, and then I close it, and then it's only me that can comment. That is working really, really well. I've just joined actually Telegraph, and I'm currently doing a purely based audio course by another coach, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's like I've got my private podcast feed. If I wanted to go into the comments, I click a separate button. So Telegraph I like, but some form of community and connection. People don't need as many Zoom calls as you think. I just want to say that. Then I will say, what really is still selling is a need to have versus a nice to have. So be really specific about the outcome. And I think there still is a place for like 6 months and 12 months programs. And that might be very much, and I know there are some online, there's some coaches that are very much like, for you to get the results that you want, we need to work at least 6 months together. We need to work at least 12 months together. And that's what works for me. And that's the only way you can work for me. But generally speaking, I think something that is a bit shorter can help us think, this is very specific, this is what I'm going to work out with this period of time, whether it be 21 days, 28 days, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I think when we start to say 12 months, some people, I know I feel like this, it's like, God, I don't know what's going to be happening in 12 months. Like, so short and sweet. And for me personally, my lower price stuff, really like micro offers. And then what I'm doing with my like mastermind and one-to-ones, I'm having it like the mastermind runs sort of over 5 months. There's 2 entry points. So you sign up for that chunk. I'm hoping most people are going to carry on for at least one more chunk, but it's helping us to not feel the larger commitment over a bigger period of time. And then my one-to-one, if you don't want to come into my mastermind but you want to work with me one-to-one, there's a 4-month option, there's an 8-month option, so people get to decide. Then what have I got here? Yeah, I've written, okay, let me keep with what's in. I love a wait list. Absolutely, wait lists are really important, right? Because they don't just like, you know, give you a group of people who are really interested, you super fans. They're actually an expression of interest. I think so often, and I have very recently fallen foul to this. Create an online course, gone, this is it, da 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 da. Should have done a wait list first. Should have got some, you know, what do you want, what do you need, you know, rather than going down the rabbit hole, which, do you know what? Sometimes we have to go down the rabbit hole because then we're in test and see mode, we're learning mode. Then we have to be non-attached to the outcome and go, okay, not this or something else, this or something better. What is going to work? What's going to work for me? What's going to work for my community? Wait list, and then considering, is there a reward for those waitlist wonders? And it doesn't have to be a discounted price. It could be, you know, an additional one-to-one, could be an early bird price, or what I find, and I think this has always worked within the context of my yoga business, whether it's been an in-person or online course, is a cohort. So there's only 8 places, there's only 10 places, or so on and so forth. And interesting with the cohort, when it's an online course, I tend to like feel into actually realistically how many people am I going to get on this given my audience size, and aim for that, and that's the cohort size, so people know that they're not coming into a mass sea of people. I learned that very much from my mentorship program. When I was you know, in a launch period, one of the questions that came up so frequently was, how many people are already in this, how many people are joining? People were genuinely a bit like, I don't want to be in a sea of massive people and processing that all the time. Obviously then, if you're limiting your numbers, it should be reflected in the price. This is obviously, if it's a cohort-based program, it's not something that you're considering as a scalable option. These are all things that would get thrown into the mix. I've written longer open cart periods, and I put a question mark about that over it being in, because I think people, it depends on the offer, it really does, but you know, giving people, it used to be very traditional on an, like, if we take the traditional launch, which again isn't dead, and it's a great way, launch is a great boost of your energy, great way to boost engagement, great way to grow social media and mailing lists, great way to invite new people into your world and sell and offer, right? So I'm, you know, pro launching, although I'm having a break. I just want to say, having spent 2023 2024 like doing 6 big launches on my mentorship program, and then like I think I've got launch burnout, to be honest. What am I saying? Yeah, so in that traditional launch period, like there are three phrases, three traditional phases where we, like, you know, build awareness, seed the idea, like show up more on our Instagram, you know, intentionally sort of like talk about what the program is going to be about. This might be also a place where I start inviting a wait list. Then I might, second phase of the launch is the freebie, plus I also might be selling to the wait list, and that's selling to wait list because it's going to be a smaller group of people. Yes, I don't just send out mass emails. I send out personal emails, personal Instagram message, personal WhatsApp message, whatever works for you guys. I open the door to human contact. That for 2025 is top, whether it's an in-person or online offer. And then we have the third phase of the launch, which is the open cart period, which traditionally is around about 10 days. And I don't know whether like I get it, whether that feels rushed for people or it feels too long. Like I'm just finding a more gentler selling vibe, having things open for a longer period of time. But I just want to acknowledge that I am used to selling multiple offers at once. In fact, I love selling multiple offers at once. I can definitely get really bored if all I'm going to talk about for 10 days is this one thing. And I think that's one of my problems with my launching. Whereas if you're new or you just want to be like, this is all I'm going to focus on, then that model works really well. But just longer open cart periods, like my mastermind, again, it's slightly different. It's not like an online course per se, but I give that 2 months. My hybrid yoga teacher training course, which is 6 months, I give that 9 to 12 months. But then again, I'm asking people to come to 2 retreat things. If it's just a pure online course, then it can be a much shorter open cart period. Go for it, but don't just suddenly announce and expect people to buy, is what I'm saying. So things that I think that are out is dropping anything that doesn't work for you because you see other people doing it. Probably overwhelm. Do people need all these additional bonuses? Probably not. Do they need the mic drop bonus to push them over the line? Maybe. Or maybe what would have been better is you go to your email, you look at the clicks, you see if people have clicked on the program, and then personal outreach. I've noticed you've clicked on the program. Have a little check. I'm not stalking you. My email marketing platform let me know. Here's my WhatsApp number. Would you like to chat? Yeah, and like people go, oh, I can't possibly do that ones if they don't want it. They're not right for you anyway. But inviting those personal conversations rather than giving people more and more and more. Like I've written out massive sales pages like nothing, put my lid on my pen here, and I am so guilty of this. Nothing kind of like puts me off more if I'm like long sales page I'm scrolling to get to the price point, or I have to click another button to see the price point. And I know there's a trend because people have spoken to me about it, but not putting your prices on because like people really want it, they'll pay whatever. Like I don't know, like I'd like to say like unless we're working in a round where we're offering like £50,000 masterminds where people have got that money and they'll just spend it, then they don't care about the price. They want to work with the person. Like even then, I just think at any price point people care about the money, the level of investment. I want to know if it's right for them before they go down a rabbit hole of inquiring. And actually, sometimes if you don't put the price, I know I won't inquire because I'm like, well, if I can't afford this and this is an awkward conversation. So in short and sweet, personal contact, community, wait lists, and really creating something that is from the heart and works for you. Really, really focus on what works for me. Don't include live calls, live classes if you don't want to. Don't do launches if you don't want to. If it's the first time you're doing this online course, just say, hey guys, I've got this idea. I've got this new idea for this new thing. I'm looking for 5 people, 10 people to come and test it out with me. And for that, the exchanges, I'll give it to you at half price. There's people already in your world, ready to buy. The last thing actually I wanted to talk about was hybrid in terms of, I love a model where it's online and there is touch points, but they might look like a Q&A thread in a WhatsApp group or Telegraph. It might look like a Zoom call. It might look like check-ins, a day where they can ask for feedback. So it's self-paced study with live interaction, and or the option for some in-person connection. Now, I know then that's like, well, it's not scalable, Amy. Yeah, sure. You can price it accordingly is what I would respond to that at. And I'd also say it can be an additional option. It can be, here's the online offer. If you'd also like to come to this in person, it costs X. And there are only 10 places for that. So online courses in 2025 still exist. Absolutely. Launches still exist. People are still going to be making money from online courses. And absolutely, an online course, a scalable online course, is the best way to get your brilliance out to more people and stop trading time for money. It doesn't really matter what money mindset book you read or listen to. All of them will talk about leveraging your experiences, not not always trading time for money. Okay, but understand, I'm just going to finish with, if you're like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm just going to say, you better have a mailing list, and you better be making efforts to grow it, however slow and painful that growth is. I know, because people on your mailing list are the people that are going to buy your courses. There is a direct correlation between the two. And it's exciting, isn't it? I'm going to do an online course. I'm going to have a 4-figure launch, 5-figure launch. I'm going to create this offer and 100 people are going to buy it at this price and I'm going to make 60 grand. Love this. Love all of this, guys. How many people on your mailing list if conversion rates are 2 to 10%? That is the truth that is not spoken about. So all paths lead to Rome, my darling, all paths lead to your mailing list, whether you have an online course or not. I really do advocate that being your main broadcast channel for most of us. All right, my darling. So if you're like, God, Amy, you know a lot, you've got a lot of experience, I'm like, hell yeah. That I do feel like is one of my strengths as a business mentor, that I understand the mechanics and strategies of online launching, online courses, online world, email marketing, funnels, alongside all this wonderful in-person stuff, retreats, classes, training courses. You know what? Last week I sat down with one of my one-to-one clients, florist, and she's creating a floristry training course. And just my years and years beyond the realm of the last 15 plus years as a solo entrepreneur, my years and years of experience in training, education and curriculum creation meant I was very able to help her craft her curriculum and plan her launch strategy. If you're like, Amy, I need you in my life, yeah, I'm here for it. You can join the waitlist for my Your Purpose Mastermind. That is next happening in July, and that will open in May. Main way you can work with me one-to-one. If you like, actually, I'd like just you, Amy, just you in my corner. I do have a 4-month and 8-month one-to-one offer, and I'm gonna put my WhatsApp. And best thing to do is to WhatsApp me for that, mainly because I do have a website, but the proper website is on its way with all of this, and you can see what it is. But yeah, get in touch if you'd like to work with me one-to-one. And then if you're not on the mailing list for my mentoring business, Amy Jones Mentor Limited, then get on it. I'll put a link again. You sign up for the energetics of selling freebie. That's the best way to get on the list, because I do also have 2 short online courses. One is 21 days, the Soul-Led Success Formula, and one is 28 days, the Ideas to Action Manifesting course. These are, like, for me, how I am loving delivering pure online courses right now, which is basically pre-recorded self-led study. They're only up to an hour, and there's 4 or 5 of them. It's like private podcasts. They drop each week, so you'll know this week this is what I've got to get through. And then we have a weekly Q&A thread where you get to ask a question and I voice message back my response. But the Q&A thread is only open for 24 hours, so you're not on some WhatsApp group that you're getting completely overwhelmed. You open your WhatsApp and there's 200 messages plus. It's working so well. So be on my mailing list for when they happen. They happen like every other couple of months. Other than that, my darling, a mixed model business is a good model business. What worked best for me? I will see you all next month.